All right. Mr. Fair, I'm all set when you're ready.
Okay. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. 8:33. Good morning, everyone, again. Welcome to the Moos LSC. Let's go ahead and do roll call here. Let me bring my list back up. All right, so Ms. Castillo.
Sí, buenos días.
Buenos días. Ms. Alfonso is not going to be here. Ms. Gonzalez. No, she never made it. Mr. Graciani.
Here.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ms. Suarez. I don't think she could make it.
She will not
right?
be joining us today.
Okay. Ms. Bernhard.
Good morning, I'm here.
Morning. Mr. Donis.
Morning, everybody. I'm here.
Good morning. Okay. Ms. Freyr's here.
Good morning.
Ms. Lopez.
Good morning.
And of course, Mr. Julio.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Before we officially start our agenda, we wanted to welcome our newest LSC member, who is Leah Martell Bolthouse. She is, by all accounts and reports, very squishy and very snuggly. And look, there she is.
The live version. Hi.
Can someone wake her up so that she knows what's going on in the meeting?
Hi, guys.
She's like in a way.
Oh, there she is.
Squishy babiness. Oh,
Oh my God.
And hi, Ava. I saw you in there.
Yeah. We used to get to school at like 8:15. Now we're more 9 o'clock people. But that's I feel like you double the baby, you double the time it takes you to do anything.
oh.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
Martel.
Hi, Leah.
What do you think? Hi, Eva. Are we ready to go back to work? See, no way. We snuggle. She's kind of in that phase right now where, like, during the day, she doesn't want to nap anywhere except for on me. So I'm like, oh, this is fun. I can't do anything but just hold her. I'm like, that's okay.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Want to say hi too.
Good morning, Ava.
Are you a
Hi,
big
Eva. Good morning.
Are you a big sister? Yeah. Ready for school? Show them your. Yeah. Who's that? That's your baby sister. Look at all these people. There's Lauren and Iwi and Rachel. There's. See, where's Emma and Ethan? Are they at school?
Emma and Ethan are downstairs. They miss you.
Oh, we miss you too. Well, we don't want to take too much time. We just wanted to meet everybody and say good morning. And yeah, that's his name is Jason. She's just pointing at everyone now, like, who's this? Can you say
So
bye?
good to see you, Wilkhouse. So good to see all that squishy. I love it.
Say bye, LSC. Make some good decisions. Have a good meeting. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
All right, that's all the surprises I have today.
That was
I'm all
cool.
surprised out.
Okay, let's see, where were we? Did the roll call. Let me go ahead and get the norms. Be present at all meetings. If unable, reach out to the secretary in advance of the meeting. Please be punctual for all meetings. Speak up and share your ideas and opinions respectfully. Please refrain from having side conversations during the meeting, and feel free to mute your microphone to tend to children who may need it. Okay. All right. Agenda approval, Ms. Frere.
I would like to make a motion to approve our agenda for March 19th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? All right, that motion is passed. Okay, Ms. Frere, the reading of the minutes.
The minutes were sent to you last month. Hopefully you got a chance to look at them. Could somebody translate for me? Sorry, I didn't allow that before.
Yeah. Los minutos de la agenda se mandaron when did you send them, Ms. Freyer? Sorry.
Right after last month's meeting, I believe it was the next day, maybe February 20th.
Fueron compartidos después de la última reunión que tuvimos.
If you are not receiving emails from me and you need to update your email address, please make sure I have the latest information. You can text that to me if necessary.
Si no están recibiendo los minutos de la agenda, por favor, pónganse en contacto con la maestra Freyer, mándenle su correo electrónico para que ella pueda revisar y asegurar de que lo puedan recibir y que tiene ella la dirección correcta.
I would like to make a motion to approve the February 19th, 2021 minutes. Do I have a second?
Seconded. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes as well.
Thank you, Ms. Moreno, for translating. I appreciate it.
Okay, moving on. Chairperson's report. I don't really have anything. We'll get into some new business later on as far as the principal evaluation. Committee reports. Is anyone going to pick that up? Ms. Suarez is not here. For the PAC?
There is some information.
Okay.
Yeah, I can report out.
Okay.
So we've been meeting really regularly and having some great productive conversations. It's been fun. We hosted our first Love y Loteria night, and we had a great turnout. We had about 35 people showing up, families show up. And we had some gift cards donated by Taqueria, and the kids won, and it was super fun. So we decided to plan another one for April 8th. And Mr. Perez is kind of like the Jefe de Loteria, and he did a really fantastic job. The next event also is going to be like a spring fling clean. It's kind of like gonna just be like picking up in the neighborhood with your family in the morning, but then also just have lawn games, and we'll have like tetherball and the soccer goals out, and the families can come in the morning and just like listen to music and kind of like have a little morning spring party. Vamos a tener una fiesta afuera en 24 de abril. Vamos a limpiar la tierra y bailar, jugar
El patio.
y otras cosas. Y vamos a tener otro Love y Lotería, Noche de Love y Lotería para las familias. Es una noche de juegos en do you say en línea? En línea, online.
Ajá, en línea. Sí.
En línea, sí. Creo que es todo. Ellos están trabajando que they're trying to get more involvement, for more parent involvement in like the fun activities, so we can get more parent involvement in some of like the other like more academic, which, you know, we're always trying to get more families to come to LSC and to PAC and to BAC. And so our gateway is just like food and fun to try to get more families to come, because we usually don't have a problem getting families to come to like food and fun. It's more of just like the logistical planning, academic meetings that we have difficulty getting people to come to.
A veces es difícil reclutar a padres para los talleres de académicos, entonces ahorita una entrada para tratar de reclutar más involucramiento de padres es organizar eventos sociales. Entonces estos dos eventos es una manera de reclutar más a familias.
Sí, es todo para PAC.
Ms. Yoda, is that the cleanup? Is that just around Moos, or is that like joint or setting up at Moos and then walking around as a group through the neighborhood?
Yeah, so we just figured like if we'll give everybody gloves and bags, and as the snow melts, hopefully it's all the snow now. There's always so much garbage everywhere around, and like our grounds are really beautiful. Like our team keeps it really clean, but we'll just kind of like divide and conquer. Like everybody take your stuff, walk with your families or other families to like clean up a bit and come back do like a half hour. Gotcha. And then we'll come back and just kind of celebrate, just to kind of spruce up our neighborhood. There's lots of just like piles of junk and garbage everywhere around Fairfield and Wabansia and under the 606 and stuff. So,
okay, great idea. The BAC, Ms. Moreno?
Yes. So we had our last meeting was on the 5th, where we discussed the seal of biliteracy test and explained what that process is like for parents. This upcoming meeting that we're going to have on the 25th of March is going to focus on all of the state testing mandates that we have, that we unfortunately have to follow. And there are several tests that students are involved with this month and in the coming 2 months. And so I want to make sure that parents understand what these tests are about. So we'll be informing parents about that. The other thing that we're going to probably do is introduce some of the work that's being done around the language policy for the PYP program. And then we'll also introduce a couple of opportunities. One is a nutrition class that's being offered for free by UIC that's been done here in the past. So we're going to try to recruit some involvement from parents on that end. And then we're also going to be continuing on with planning some additional spring events for the community, including working with the little lot that we have out on Fairfield. And yeah, so that's our BAC committee work. El Comité de Asesor Bilingüe de Padres tuvo su última reunión el 5 de febrero, donde se compartió información sobre el sello de literacidad. Y ahora, en esta próxima reunión, el 25 de marzo a las 5 de la tarde, se va a dar información sobre todos los mandatos actuales que ahorita tiene el Estado para las pruebas de Access y otros exámenes que se tienen que dar de acuerdo con la ley del Estado. Son varios, entonces queremos compartir toda esa información para que no haya confusión acerca de por qué tanto examen. La otra parte que se va a compartir va a ser información sobre el trabajo que se está haciendo con la póliza de lenguaje del programa, la programación primaria del programa del bachillerato internacional aquí en la escuela. También vamos a dar información sobre un curso que se va a dar de la Universidad de Illinois de Chicago sobre nutrición y salud. Es una oportunidad para que los padres se registren. Y también vamos a continuar en planificar un evento comunitario que involucra utilizar una placita de terreno que tenemos aquí en la esquina de la Fairfield. And our dual language committee, our dual language teachers right now continue to meet bi-weekly for professional development. We've been working on PYP planning for our biliteracy work. We're going to be working on language objectives in our upcoming session. Right now, we are getting ready for conducting the seal of biliteracy test. So we've got 6 fifth graders and 8 eighth graders that are going to be testing on Monday and Tuesday of next week. They've also received a test prep session earlier this week. We've completed pre-K formal screeners that had to be conducted. We're currently conducting kindergarten formal screeners for students that are here in hybrid, and then organizing those that are remote, but that will need individualized sessions to complete. Those are required by the state. And that's part of the preparation work that we have to do to ensure that we're on track for completing access testing, which is also state mandated. And that will come in May. So we're getting ready for all of that. We're coordinating schedules right now and ensuring that teachers are prepared to, with their certifications, to be able to help in administering those tests. El comité o el grupo de maestros de lenguaje dual aquí en la escuela ahorita sigue preparándose con las sesiones de desarrollo profesional, donde nos hemos estado enfocando sobre la planificación del programa de primaria con objetivos de instrucción para desarrollar lo que es el trabajo bilingüe y lingüístico. Vamos a continuar con el desarrollo de objetivos para el desarrollo del lenguaje formalmente. En la próxima semana vamos a estar dando la evaluación del sello de biliteracidad. Aquí en la escuela vamos a tener a 6 estudiantes de 5º grado, 8 estudiantes de 8º grado que van a tomar este examen. Ellos esta semana pudieron practicar y ver cómo es ese examen para que puedan sentirse un poco más cómodos y listos para el examen. Ahorita ya hemos completado todas las pruebas o evaluaciones que se tienen que hacer. Típicamente se hacen cuando los estudiantes de pre-kinder, kinder y estudiantes nuevos entran al programa bilingüe o aquí a la programación bilingüe aquí de la escuela. Actualmente se hacen estas pruebas al principio del año, pero con todo lo que hemos tenido que ir haciendo parte por parte. Entonces ahorita ya completamos la porción de pre-kinder. Estamos ahorita terminando con todas las pruebas formales que se tienen que hacer para el kinder y los nuevos estudiantes. Y esto también nos ayuda a preparar para que estemos listos con las listas actuales de quién va a tener que tomar la prueba del examen estatal del Access, que es el acceso al inglés. Es un examen que se da a todos los estudiantes en el programa bilingüe para medir el nivel académico de inglés que ellos llevan aquí en la escuela. Y eso se ofrece de kinder a 8º grado. Entonces, ahorita estamos ya formalizando las listas, los horarios, y vamos a ver cómo vamos a coordinar todas las sesiones para los estudiantes que están aquí en programación híbrido y también los que están en programación remoto. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Moreno. Counseling, Ms. Conway.
Good morning. Ms. Frere, I think Ms. Sweeney is on a bit of a time
I
crunch.
know. I just remembered that. She texted me that. We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
we're gonna skip ahead because Miss Sweeney's got another thing that she needs to be at, and I completely forgot to mention that. So
Okay.
we'll
Vamos
fast
a
forward.
cambiar un poco porque ahorita Miss Sweeney tiene que correr a otra reunión, entonces va a presentar ella primero.
Okay, Ms. Sweeney, it's all yours.
Yeah, sorry to jump the line. I actually have a meeting with our PYP consultant that we're working with at 9. So we've been doing a workshop series. It's a 4-workshop series with the teachers to develop inquiry in our workshop model classrooms. So that's something we have our last training with on Wednesday next week.
Vamos a tener los maestros aquí de nivel de pre-kinder a 5º grado. Están preparándose para una sesión sobre planificando la primera unidad sobre investigaciones para el programa. Entonces, eso se va a llevar a cabo. Bueno, las unidades se van a llevar a cabo después de la primavera. Entonces, ahorita se están preparando para ese trabajo.
Thank you. All of the teachers in grades pre-K through 5 have spent a full day of planning for their first unit of inquiry. So they're going to implement their first PYP unit of inquiry after spring break. So they're very excited about it. We've done a ton of work on it. And so every student in pre-K to 5 will experience that once we return.
Cada estudiante de pre-kinder a 5º grado va a tener la experiencia de haber practicado y trabajado en la primera unidad de investigaciones que se está preparando después de la primavera.
We're also collecting information about all of our family's language and cultures through a survey. It was posted on your child's class dojo. So we're asking, tell your friends, fill out the survey. We want to get as much information as possible to make sure we're including all languages and cultures that are present of our students in the books and materials we have and in our curriculum. So we want to gather all that material because we know English and Spanish is there, but there are many other languages and cultures and traditions that we want to make sure students see celebrated and experience in our classrooms.
Ahorita se está recopilando información sobre lenguaje y cultura y tradiciones que las familias y los estudiantes aquí de Moos tienen. Se compartió una encuesta a cada familia que se puso en las páginas de Class Dojo para ayudarnos a entender cuáles son esas tradiciones y las culturas y todos los lenguajes que reflejan la comunidad aquí de Moos. Y esto nos va a ayudar en la programación que estamos haciendo para el programa de primaria, para entender mejor con quiénes estamos trabajando y qué es todo lo que ellos pueden contribuir a la comunidad y a la programación que tenemos. Por favor, llenen esa encuesta si la recibieron.
And with that being said, we received money for IB from CPS, and we are in the process of spending about $10,000 to $15,000 on Spanish books that are going to support our units of inquiry and student learning in all the grades, and about $5,000 on English books that are going to support the units of inquiry. So we're picking them specifically to support that learning and making sure we're spending much more on Spanish because that's where we have less materials as it is, and we need to make sure we start to rectify that situation.
Recibimos fondos de las escuelas públicas de Chicago para la programación del programa de primaria y para el programa de bachillerato internacional que estamos desarrollando. Entonces, ahorita una área donde tenemos que recopilar más recursos es en la materia que se utiliza para el trabajo en español. Entonces, vamos a dedicar entre $10,000 y $15,000 a la compra de libros y recursos, textos para los salones y para las unidades que llevamos en planificación ahorita. Vamos a dedicar $5,000 de esta beca a los libros de inglés. Sabemos que aquí en la escuela hay una gran necesidad para recopilar más recursos en español. Esa es una área donde en todos lugares se van a encontrar que hay una necesidad mucho más profunda que la de inglés. Entonces, estamos intentando de nivelar esas cantidades. Y entonces, estos recursos van a apoyar directamente a todas las unidades de trabajo que se están planificando ahorita para el programa de primaria.
Thank you, Ms. Marino. I know that was a lot. And my last two things I'm going to put together. So I'm going to be holding a parent virtual PYP info session on report card parent-teacher conference pickup day. So from 5 to 6 p.m. on that day, I'm going to have a virtual meeting that anyone in the community and parents can attend just to give more specific information and answer questions about what PYP is and what that looks like for our pre-K to 5 students. So I'm going to send out an invitation and send it out in our newsletter. So I'm going to send out my first newsletter giving basic information about what PYP is in April, right after spring break. So you can be on the lookout for that. It'll give, the basic information, tell about the program, and then have that invitation in there for a more detailed hour-long session in April.
La maestra Sweeney va a ofrecer un curso virtual donde ella va a explicar mucho más acerca de la programación de primaria para el programa de bachillerato internacional. Entonces, esta sesión se va a llevar a cabo el miércoles 21 de abril de 5 a 6. Va a ser el mismo día que las boletas, las conferencias de boletas se van a dar. Va a ser una oportunidad para que los padres puedan entender un poquito más sobre la programación y puedan hacer sus preguntas. Igual ella va a mandar una invitación a todas las familias para que puedan participar y tengan los detalles de esta sesión. Igual va a compartir un noticiero o una carta informativa donde ella va a dar un poco más de información.
Thank you. And I'll make sure that newsletter goes out to all of our LSC members as well, especially if you are not parents of students at our school, so you get that information too. And feel free to share it with other community members. And let me know if there's other ways that I can reach out.
También va a compartir esta información con los miembros del concilio escolar, porque se sabe que algunos quizás no tienen hijos aquí en la escuela, entonces queremos asegurar de que todos en la comunidad lo reciban. Si ellos pueden compartir esta información con miembros de la comunidad, es muy agradecido.
All right, thank you. That's all for me.
Gracias.
All right, thank you, Sweeney. Ms. Conway.
All right. So, as far as counseling updates, we did receive word that high school application results will be released on Friday, April 30th in the evening. That's a little bit later than we usually get them. But all of the results will be posted to the 8th graders Go CPS accounts, and parents will be getting instructions about how to access those results. And I will be meeting with students through that process as well.
Ok. Los resultados de las aplicaciones para la secundaria se van a entregar el 30 de abril, pero van a salir un poco tarde, después de las 5 de la tarde, y esos resultados ya entonces se van a, con las instrucciones de los siguientes pasos, se van a compartir a través de un correo electrónico para los papás.
Okay, we're in the early stages of preparing for the Iar Test, which is the required state testing that is done with 3rd through 8th graders. It will be scheduled tentatively for later in April, so we'll be sending more information about that after spring break.
Después de la primavera se va a compartir información sobre uno de los exámenes estatales que se tiene que dar. Se llama la evaluación de preparación de Illinois para todos los estudiantes de 3º a 8º grado. Estamos aproximando que los exámenes se van a llevar a cabo a finales de abril, entonces esa información se compartirá después de la primavera, después de las vacaciones primaverales.
All right, and then attendance and engagement continue to be metrics that the district is using to measure school success. And so we are continuing to implement our Attendance All-Stars program to help improve attendance for some of our most at-risk students. Those participating in the program have increased their attendance by an average of 1% over 6 weeks of the intervention, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but every little bit counts when we're starting at students who are in the red, maybe at that 86 or 87% attendance, and we're trying to get them up to 96.
Okay. Ahorita seguimos trabajando con la intervención que llevamos para la asistencia, para el mejoramiento de asistencia. Sabemos que una de las maneras que las escuelas públicas de Chicago están midiendo el éxito de cada escuela es a través de la asistencia. Entonces, ahorita nosotros tenemos el programa de los superestrellas de asistencia y es una manera de mejorar la asistencia para algunos estudiantes que están en alto riesgo. Y estos son estudiantes que típicamente están atendiendo a la escuela quizás al 86% y queremos subir aumentar ese porcentaje al 96%. Entonces, ahorita actualmente hemos podido medir que ahorita hay un mejoramiento de 1% con este grupo, pero algo cada paso que llevamos es algo más positivo o un paso más positivo hacia el éxito para nosotros, porque ahorita ha sido una etapa muy difícil para todos.
Okay, and then I'm going to combine the last 2 bullet points as well. I am currently running some small groups for students in 2nd through 5th grade, and those topics are focused on success skills and self-esteem. And then as far as our Tier 1 instruction, that continues throughout the year with Second Step for pre-K through 8th grade and Success Bound for 6th through 8th.
Okay, la consejera Conway está ofreciendo grupos pequeños de consejería para los estudiantes de 2º a 5º grado. Los grupos están enfocando en el desarrollo de habilidades para el éxito y el autoestima. Y, perdón, último punto, también se sigue trabajando en la programación del segundo paso que es instrucción socioemocional para los niños de prekinder a octavo grado y para sexto a octavo grado con la jornada al éxito.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ms. Conway. I have a quick question for you. The IAR, and I may have seen that before. The acronyms come at you at a million miles an hour. What does that entail, the IAR?
So the IAR, you may have heard it in the past as PARC or ISAP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so it's that.
So they just changed the name?
They keep changing the name on us for whatever reason. But there is typically an ELA section focused on reading and then a math section. I know folks were hoping that maybe the Department of Education would waive testing for this year, but at this point they have not issued any blanket waivers. So we're preparing as though it's happening and we'll see if anything changes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. La pregunta fue acerca de las evaluaciones que se van a dar del Estado y anteriormente se reconoció como el examen del PARC y mide el éxito que los estudiantes llevan o el progreso que llevan en matemáticas y las artes del lenguaje, lectoescritura. Entonces ahorita todavía está por saber si se van a seguir dando estos exámenes o si van a seguir con el mandatorio.
Okay, special education, Ms. Leong. Or her representative?
I can present hers.
Yeah.
We have a new nurse. Her days here are Mondays and Thursdays. Her name's Miss Alabi, and she helps sit in the meetings for 504 plans. So when students have a health concern, she helps facilitate that meeting. Tenemos una nueva enfermera de Miss Alabi y ella es trabajando en Moos a los lunes y martes aquí en la Moos. Our least restrictive environment report, students with IEPs at Moos are 96% included in the general education classroom, which is the least restrictive environment. Moreno, do you want to translate?
Yeah. Ahorita tenemos, como ustedes saben, tenemos aquí el programa de educación especial donde tenemos el entorno menos restrictivo para los estudiantes. Entonces tenemos 61 estudiantes registrados en esta programación y 96.7% de los estudiantes están recibiendo instrucción de inclusión completa y la enseñanza en colaboración con los maestros del salón actuales.
I'll merge the last two bullets. Right now we just have 7 open evals. It's been hard to make up all of the different canceled meetings from this year of the remote, but Leong's been doing a really great job of that. She also gave professional development to all of our special ed teachers to how to beef up the language sections of IEPs. And we just had an audit from OLSE, and they came and visited and reviewed all of our IEPs. And they just picked them randomly, and our school did fantastic. Ms. Van Dyke, Ms. Moreno, Ms. Leong really worked hard to make sure that all of our IEPs and ELL sections, like the language sections, were completed really well. And because of that PD, the teachers felt really prepared, and those sections have really improved.
Excellent.
Tenemos 7 evaluaciones que están por completarse para el programa de educación especial y hubo una sesión de desarrollo profesional con la maestra Liang, quien está dirigiendo el programa, ¿verdad? Ella se reunió con los maestros para ayudarles a escribir el plan educativo de los estudiantes y donde podrían centrarse en lo que son las necesidades culturales y de lenguaje. Tuvimos una evaluación informal de la Oficina de Lenguaje y Cultura de las Escuelas Públicas de Chicago y hemos estado trabajando en gran equipo aquí en la escuela, yo, la maestra Van Dyke y la maestra Li Yang, para asegurar de que esa preparación estuviera allí con todos los maestros. Cuando hicieron la evaluación, empezaron a tomar diferentes planes de la escuela y de los estudiantes, y salimos muy bien en esta evaluación que hicieron. Notaron que muchas de las partes de las secciones de los planes estaban bien desarrollados y apropiados para las necesidades lingüísticas y culturales de los estudiantes.
Is that everything?
That is it.
Okay. Moving on to, we did that one already.
Report.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'll talk a little bit about the middle years program, so 6th through 8th grade. There weren't many new updates from the last time we met. So teachers are continuing to complete their self-evaluations for their MYP units. And we are doing that in preparation for an evaluation visit that we will get at the beginning of the 2022-2023 school year.
No hubo mucho cambio de la última, el último informativo que dimos sobre la programación del programa Bachillerato Internacional en los años preparatorios. Pero ahorita los maestros están continuando en completando las autoevaluaciones que tienen con sus unidades de estudio. Y esta preparación es para una visita que se va a hacer por parte de la organización que revisa la calidad de esta programación del bachillerato internacional a estos niveles. Entonces, ahorita se va a dar una visita pronto y los maestros están revisando y autoevaluando su trabajo.
And then through those self-evaluations that they're doing on their unit plans, we are also dedicating 2 to 3 hours of planning time outside of their work time this month to strengthen, revise, and write their units based off of their self-evaluations.
Entonces, junto con este trabajo que se está haciendo de la autoevaluación, los maestros están dedicando 2 a 3 horas de planificación fuera del trabajo aquí este último mes para mejorar, editar y quizás ingresarle más trabajo, más detalle a sus unidades de instrucción basado en las autoevaluaciones que están haciendo.
We do a lot of work with the teachers and how to improve their unit plans and instruction in the classroom. And so after spring break and for pretty much the rest of the school year, we want to start focusing on what students are doing and really get the student voice there and looking at artifacts from the units. So we want to have teachers bring those into some of the meetings that we're having so that we can have discussions around them and really improve just our assessment practices and strengthen the rubrics that we're using with students.
Estamos ahorita también dedicando un poco de tiempo para recopilar artefactos o artificios de los estudiantes, o sea, simplemente colectar trabajo estudiantil que nosotros podamos analizar para ver cómo se puede seguir mejorando las prácticas de trabajo y de evaluación aquí en el programa. Entonces, analizando este trabajo, también nos da una indicación de a dónde va el estudiante, ¿verdad? Que reconocer exactamente cuáles son esas necesidades que ellos tienen y nos dan la oportunidad de escuchar la voz del estudiante a través de lo que ellos pueden demostrar. Entonces, esta es una práctica muy centrada a la programación del bachillerato internacional y se está dedicando ese tiempo ahorita ya que se están mejorando las unidades actualmente.
And then before I talk about service learning, and I'm sorry, Ms. Marino, this wasn't a bullet point, but with all the assessment talk, I thought I would bring up that our 4th through 8th grade students are all taking what's called the 5 Essentials survey. Teachers and parents and families are also invited from CPS to fill out that survey. And those results are then part of our school rating. And so we're having our students take that this past week, and then again we're going to have them continue taking it next week, just so that we can get the student voice based on their classes, their teachers, parents, the community, and such. So the students are participating in that survey these next 2 weeks.
En las próximas 2 semanas, los estudiantes de 4º a 8º grado están llenando una encuesta que se llama Los 5 Esenciales. Y es una encuesta que también se abre a los padres, a miembros de la comunidad, para darnos más información sobre cómo les va, ¿verdad? Es otra manera de darle voz a los estudiantes y escuchar de su lente cómo van progresando ellos y cómo sienten ellos que va progresando aquí la escuela y la experiencia. Entonces, en estas próximas 2 semanas, ellos estarán completando esas encuestas.
Okay, and for service learning, I'm going to kind of combine those because those are the same from the last time the LSC met. But our 6th and 7th graders are completing their service learning requirement through their classes in language and literature, as well as individuals and societies. And our 8th graders are continuing to work on their community projects. And we've been meeting with them on Wednesdays during that asynchronous time that students have.
Los estudiantes de 6º y 7º grado siguen trabajando con los proyectos de aprendizaje de servicio, donde ellos están enfocándose en lo que es el activismo. Estudiantes recibirán crédito para este aprendizaje de servicio a través de las clases que tienen ellos de lenguaje y literatura y individuos y sociedades. Los estudiantes de 8º grado también están continuando con sus proyectos comunitarios, donde ellos están planificando para maneras de que puedan ellos ayudar a la comunidad.
And just one last thing for service learning, towards the end of the year, we will have a little celebration, whether it's virtually or simultaneously, to kind of present their projects. So everyone will get a chance to kind of see what the kids have been working on.
Cuando al final del año, cuando los estudiantes de 6º y 7º grado puedan terminar sus trabajos de aprendizaje de servicio, esperamos tener una celebración para que ellos puedan presentar el trabajo que han estado haciendo y puedan elaborar sobre el trabajo actual. I think that's it.
All right, thanks, Ms. Sweeney. Next up, Mr. Julio, MTS.
You're muted.
MTSS is multi-tiered systems of support, and the team meets weekly, and teachers bring kind of their students data and interventions and tracking, and the team kind of does a problem of practice protocol to figure out, like a student problem solving protocol, to try to figure out which interventions are working, what are some of the root causes, to figure out what's getting in the way of the academic or behavior, like the growth, the root cause of the issue. We have parents involved in that process, and then interventions are assigned and tracked. As you remember, we did a tier 2 intervention with LLI school-wide, and just took our middle of year assessments with BASS. This week at Clusters, we reviewed all of our BASS data, and teachers shared their small group plans and which skills each of the different groups were going to be focusing on for progress monitoring. So whether the kids are struggling with fluency or comprehension or phonics, the teachers shared out the specific strategies that they're going to be working with for each of the different groups in both English and Spanish. Moreno.
Seguimos trabajando con todos los maestros para asegurar de que se sigan implementando los servicios de apoyo con grupos ¿cómo se podría decir? A diferentes niveles de de apoyo, ¿no? O sea, se está diferenciando el nivel de apoyo que se le está dando a los estudiantes. Entonces, esto se da a través de no solamente apoyo, sino que también trabajos de intervención, y donde los maestros están trabajando con estrategias muy específicas y que después de haberse analizado quizás cierta información que tenemos sobre el estudiante y su progreso. Entonces, estas intervenciones son muy centradas a las necesidades de los estudiantes. Una de las maneras en que podemos ofrecer este apoyo y las intervenciones es cuando estamos estudiando y analizando todos los informativos que tenemos a través de sus niveles de lectura. Entonces, ahorita estamos trabajando con esos niveles de lectura. La última sesión que tuvimos con maestros y maestras fue para ver cómo van progresando los estudiantes con estos niveles de lectura y cuáles estrategias específicamente están trabajando los maestros con cada grupo de intervención que tienen. Entonces, ahorita seguimos trabajando con ellos, seguiremos trabajando con ellos para seguir desarrollando esa planificación y asegurando de que estos estudiantes están teniendo las oportunidades para seguir mejorando y desarrollando sus niveles de lectura.
We were just in a principal PD, and the CPS is asking for us to just take another look at our CIWP. Our CIWP is a continuous improvement work plan, which we worked on last year to set goals and our priorities for instruction for the next 2 years. Our priorities are assessment and grading, curriculum, instruction, and MTSS. So those are our 4 priorities. And as you hear from all of our committee reports, we've been really focused on writing, our curriculum, writing our unit planning, focusing on our instruction in terms of small grouping. And then also assessment and grading is an MTSS. Assessment and grading has been, always our focus. And this year has been a little bit difficult to focus on because of this new way of teaching. That's one area that we're still going to be continuously working on, like Van Dyke mentioned, reviewing rubrics, figuring out how to, as a school, use data to drive our instruction, because this year we haven't had NWEA. We've always relied on data dives and looking at our NWEA data and regrouping students and creating intervention groups and after-school programs to support students and challenge students and who goes into algebra based on their percentile. And this year's been a different year. We haven't had that data to use. And while CPI, Van Dyke and Conway and I met yesterday just to map out all of the million assessments that are coming down the pike. And unfortunately, we didn't get the waiver in Illinois to not do them, but IAR alone is, how many sessions is it again? 4 sessions for each?
3 for each, but we have 2 separate pods and then our remote students, so it ends up being quite a few sessions.
So it's 3 reading tests, 3 math tests. You can only do 2 tests a day, and kids are only in person 2 days a week. So it's going to be like testing for weeks and weeks and weeks. And another sweet little thing that they did was that they made it mandatory in person. So even the students that are at home have to come into school and take their test. So we're trying to figure out logistics that way. We're awaiting guidance, hoping that there's some miracle of a waiver that helps us not have to focus on testing for 5 weeks. So that's just the IAR. And then access testing. Yeah. Then access testing is for all of our bilingual students. And that's also 4 tests for reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So that's also multiple days of assessments. And then I'm looking at my board right now with all of them on there. And it's like, and then the ISA is the Illinois Science Assessment, which is for 5th through and 8th grade. And that's 3 tests each. So what I feel the most terrible about is that the kids that are just coming in person for their first time, 4th quarter, the days that they're here in person are going to be solely for testing for the next 3 weeks after, 4th quarter. So, we're hoping for a miracle. We're figuring out how to make it work and how to space out the assessments within the windows that we're allowed to administer them. And we still have yet to find out about NWEA. So NWEA is the one, this is the test we love the most. It's live, it gives us data immediately. It's really helpful for instruction. These Illinois state tests, we don't get the results for until the following year. So they don't really help us in terms of right now, changing your instruction to support students. So right now, a lot of our work is just figuring out our own in-house assessments, using a program called Checkpoint and Teachers Formative Assessments, and going through ways to kind of systematize that, and how can we look at data across a grade level and, you know, talk about our instruction and identify where students need to be, and what we need to do to change our instruction based on those assessments that we're creating in-house. Sorry, Marina, that was a ramble.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Let me just explain a little bit about
Yes.
La directora está hablando que ahorita a las escuelas públicas de Chicago está sugiriendo que cada escuela revise su plan de mejoramiento continuo. Es un plan que se lleva a cabo o se desarrolla para una temporada de 5 años, más o menos. Entonces, este plan, se asume que este plan siempre es un poco dinámico, porque va cambiando, siempre se va revisando, siempre va elaborándose un poco más de acuerdo con el desarrollo de las necesidades de una escuela y la comunidad, ¿verdad? Porque las cosas cambian de año a año. Entonces, ahorita, con todo lo que ha estado pasando y el hecho de que no hemos tenido, no tenemos no hemos podido practicar la instrucción como típicamente lo hacemos, no tenemos los mismos puntos de información que típicamente tenemos y necesitamos para tomar mejores decisiones en los próximos pasos de instrucción, ¿verdad? Entonces, esos datos de las evaluaciones que típicamente se hacen al principio, mediano y a finales de año, no son puntos de información que ahorita existen porque no se han dado estas evaluaciones. Entonces, nosotros estamos utilizando el trabajo que estamos haciendo actual. Entonces, vamos a seguir ampliando, ¿no? Los lentes que ya tenemos sobre el trabajo, las autoevaluaciones que estamos haciendo, los puntos de intervención con los niveles de lectura que tenemos ahorita aquí, y estamos viendo de qué manera podemos darle prioridad a las cosas que ya hemos podido identificar que son necesidades para nuestra comunidad. Entonces, quizás estos son los cambios que se van a hacer a este plan. Quizás se desarrollan nuevas metas. Es simplemente una sugerencia, pero siempre hay ese espacio y esa ventanilla. Ahorita, lo que más explicó la directora fue ahorita quizás una barrera a todo este trabajo de planificar y de análisis, es que el hecho de que estamos llegando a un punto en este año donde no solamente nos estamos topando con quizás la entrada de otra nueva ola de estudiantes a la escuela, ¿verdad? Que van a regresar a la escuela, pero también está cruzando esto con los mandatorios que está dando el Estado para evaluaciones. Entonces, tenemos, por ejemplo, la evaluación las evaluaciones de preparación del Estado de Illinois, el IAR. Ese examen tiene varias sesiones para cada materia. Entonces, el examen de ciencias que se va a llevar a cabo de 5º y 8º grado también tienen varias sesiones. O sea, el examen no se toma en una sesión únicamente. Estos exámenes tienen varias sesiones. Por ejemplo, tienen 3 partes a cada área de contenido. Entonces, quizás 3 sesiones de lectura, lectoescritura, 3 sesiones de matemáticas, ¿verdad? También con el examen del acceso al inglés académico para los estudiantes bilingües, no solamente tomarán todos esos exámenes, pero además hay 4 exámenes para los 4 puntos lingüísticos de desarrollo que tienen que hacer. Entonces, cada uno de estos toma tiempo, no se hacen en un momentito, sino que toman tiempo. Y actualmente estamos viendo la posibilidad de que van a regresar estudiantes a la escuela y únicamente van a estar aquí para tomar la gran cantidad de exámenes que se tienen que dar. Y ese es un punto muy difícil para todos nosotros, obviamente para los estudiantes también, porque cambia entonces la experiencia que ellos van a tener aquí en la escuela. Y es un punto, una clave muy importante para nosotros, saber cómo navegar este mandatorio que tenemos con las necesidades de los estudiantes para seguir mejorando. Estamos esperando y cruzando los dedos que quizás haya una manera de que puedan deshacer algunas de los mandatorios para estos exámenes porque es una gran cantidad. Entonces, vamos a seguir esperando noticia del Estado y viendo si podemos quizás enfocarnos simplemente en las evaluaciones que estamos haciendo aquí actualmente con las unidades de estudio que tenemos.
Yeah, I think Freya, we need Jonas here, right, for the amendments, or no? Are we good? You're muted. We're good?
We're good. We have 7 without him.
Okay. We'll miss you though. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, y'all.
Tell Isby to cancel all these assessments for us, okay?
That'll be my first order of business.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question really quick about the last slide?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is necessarily the goal to get a waiver, but it sounds like it's very stressful and it would be helpful to get a waiver. Is there anything, like, I'm thinking of like an organizing first mindset. Is there anything we can do? And I'm assuming the waiver comes from like the Illinois superintendent or the board. Is there anything that the community, parents can do to push for this waiver?
Conway, do you know?
Sorry, I'm just pulling up the assessment update that we get weekly because there was an update about it. And you are correct. I believe the superintendent is, she released a message saying that ISB is continuing to work with the Department of Education and its vendors to determine a path forward for Illinois. So they were doing some advocacy work, and it looks like, it looks like they submitted a letter through the superintendent kind of requesting these changes. I'm not sure off the top of my head, what we can do at this level, but I
would imagine that like writing to senators, senators, right. That because these the decisions are going to lie at the federal level. And really they're looking at the waves of work being done across the country, right? Where there's been such huge differences in the way every state has led the return to school. And so, there are some schools that have been in school for a while and they've actually managed these test sessions already. And so it's so hard to kind of say some of our schools went through it and some of our schools didn't at a national level. But I think that the more our senators and representatives can advocate for us, this is a very difficult time and it's a very unique time. So I think anything goes.
Well, the time to do it is now because these tests are supposed to happen, next month they start?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would suggest right after the meeting, if you want to write your congressman or congressperson, that you do it sooner rather than later.
Ya se está preguntando que si hay algo actualmente que se podría hacer por parte de la comunidad o los padres para ayudar con esta cuestión de tantos exámenes o evaluaciones. Entonces, estamos hablando de que ahorita el Estado, el jefe de la mesa directiva del Estado, mesa directiva de educación del Estado, es la que metió la solicitud para pedir un permiso de no tener que tomar estos exámenes, pero esa decisión es un cargo federal. Entonces, como hay tanta diferencia en cómo cada estado ha estado manejando el regreso a la escuela, todas esas diferencias hacen que esa decisión sea muy difícil a nivel nacional. Pero ahorita estamos en una situación única, ¿verdad? Con una pandemia que ha afectado cada estado y cada comunidad de diferente manera. Entonces, estamos de la opinión de que quizás la mejor manera es escribir esas cartas.
Yeah, I had reached out to Senator Duckworth's office on a separate issue, and they responded within 48 hours, and the issue was resolved within, I would say, a week. So she would be one that I would go back to, which I will go back to as far as this stuff. But they were very supportive of that inquiry that I made, and the turnaround was super quick. So I would suggest you include her in your emails.
Senator Duckworth, is that Mr. Ferrer?
Yeah, Senator Duckworth, yes.
La senadora Duckworth es una persona que dice el señor Ferrer que él ha tenido mucho éxito en escribirle a ella con ciertas encuestas y preguntas y ella responde rápidamente. Yo también he tenido experiencias escribirle cartas al senador Durbin. I've had experience with Senator Durbin as well, and I've also had very positive and quick turnaround time with him. También he recibido noticia y respuesta de él muy rápidamente.
Okay, from the teachers.
I can do this one.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that parents are aware that our Wednesday exploratory schedule, and actually the entire schedule for Wednesdays, is different, and students are required to log on. We've had quite a dip in attendance for exploratory classes on Wednesdays because of that schedule change, and I believe that's going to be our Wednesday for the long haul. So we just want to make sure that parents understand that the schedule for their children is different on Wednesdays.
El horario para los miércoles ahorita con todos los cambios que se han hecho ha resultado en que tengamos que cambiar el horario de las clases exploratorias para los estudiantes, pero hemos notado que la asistencia para estas clases ha disminuido. Entonces les pedimos por favor a cada padre o madre que por favor pónganse en contacto con sus maestros para asegurar de que entiendan exactamente cuál es ese horario específico para su estudiante, para que no estén perdiendo esas oportunidades de clase y no se vayan a atrasar. Ahorita estamos viendo la posibilidad de que se tenga que tener este horario especial quizás el resto del año, entonces ese miércoles va a ser muy importante que se aseguren ustedes que entiendan ese horario bien.
And then the other item is that we still have some parents who either are not signed up or don't respond on Class Dojo. And so if we need to do possibly a little training for parents, we can definitely look into helping people get connected. It's a really easy and convenient way for teachers to reach out. There's also, as I understand it, on the parents' end, there's a translation available. So especially during these COVID times when we're remote for many days, it's really important for us to be able to reach parents, and sometimes that's not possible on Dojo. So we want to get everybody caught up on that.
Una nota para los papás acerca de conectando. Ahorita tenemos todavía una gran cantidad de padres que no están conectando a través de la aplicación Class Dojo, y verdaderamente los maestros dependen mucho por la cuestión de tiempo, poder comunicarse con los padres de una manera consistentemente. Entonces, esta es una manera y una aplicación que también se presta a ofrecer traducciones de lenguaje. Entonces, es algo muy necesario para los estudiantes y para los padres y para los maestros. Quizás se puede ofrecer un taller con los papás que todavía no saben cómo conectar para que puedan navegar exactamente su teléfono y sepan cómo subir esta aplicación a su teléfono específico.
Thank you for the translation, Ms. Moreno.
Ms. Moreno, is that topic brought up at the PAC and the back?
The Class Dojo issue?
Yeah, the outreach.
I think we should. I haven't brought it up myself, but I know that I've worked with a number of parents on uploading that application, and I can tell you that a lot of times the problem is that different phones take on the applications in a different way.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, some parents are still learning how to navigate getting an email or things like that. And the technology, right? I think this year we've come a long way with people just really needing to do it because it's so necessary to learn technology, even though they're uncomfortable. But certainly there's always room for more. So for sure, I think mentioning it is important. El señor Ferrer está sugiriendo que mencionemos estos talleres o la necesidad de conocimiento para estas aplicaciones un poquito más en las reuniones del PAC y del PAC. Y estamos hablando que quizás es necesario mencionarlo allí y ofrecerlo a través de esos comités.
Okay, health and wellness.
All right, I'll jump in here. Mr. Rosado is currently on a leave, so I will be taking the lead on student health and wellness for the time being. I met with our network specialist this month, and we are currently on track to maintain our healthy CPS certification for this school year.
Ahorita la señora Conway va a tomar el lugar del maestro Rosado, quien estaba liderando el trabajo con las escuelas públicas de Chicago para certificarnos como una escuela de alta salud, ¿verdad? Entonces, ahorita él está tomando un breve permiso de la escuela por cuestiones médicas y la señora Conway va a entrar en su lugar. Entonces, ella ahorita ha estado trabajando con las escuelas públicas de Chicago y el Departamento de Salud con un especialista de la red de salud. Entonces, ahorita corrientemente la escuela está en camino para mantener esa certificación de alta salud o buena salud para este año escolar.
And then just a few updates. We sent out some notifications about this, but all CPS students are eligible for food benefits through the pandemic electronic benefit transfer. And those benefits, it comes out to $6.82 per day that the student was not able to attend school. So starting this month, families will receive a distribution for those days in August through December. And we are just wanting to make sure that everyone has their address updated so that we can ensure that families receive those funds.
Todos los estudiantes de las escuelas públicas de Chicago son elegibles para recibir los beneficios de alimentos con el programa que se llama la transferencia electrónica de beneficios para la pandemia. Entonces, estos beneficios se van a repartir de acuerdo con la información que tengamos aquí en la escuela. Entonces, por ejemplo, cada familia para cada día escolar que los estudiantes no estuvieron en clase, de agosto a diciembre van a recibir un beneficio de $6.82 para cada estudiante cada día de ese tiempo. Entonces, este dinero se va a distribuir a través de un cheque y tenemos que asegurar de que el domicilio que nosotros tenemos registrado en los datos escolares esté correcto para que puedan recibir ustedes a través del correo su cheque.
Okay. Now that we are back in the building, we're really working to make sure that our medical compliance is in order. So specifically for students in pre-K, kindergarten, 6th and 8th grade, we want to make sure that we have those updated physicals and immunization records. And then for students in every grade, we're sending home the medical form just to make sure we're catching any students who may have a medical issue that we need to be aware of.
Ahorita estamos trabajando para asegurar de que todos los formularios médicos para los estudiantes estén corrientes. Entonces, especialmente si tienen estudiantes en prekinder, en kinder, sexto o octavo grado, muy importante que tengamos todos los datos médicos corrientes con las vacunas y todo necesarios, con los exámenes físicos que se tienen que hacer y que se entreguen a la oficina. Es muy importante porque esta es otra manera en que miden el éxito de la escuela, entonces queremos asegurar de que estas formas estén entregadas este año.
And then the last thing I want to mention is the Title IX training, which is for students in pre-K through 8th grade. And this is a mandatory training through the Office of Student Protections. And the goal is to help students understand the importance of reporting sexual misconduct. So these lessons will be presented by the teachers in April. They are differentiated by grade. So for pre-K to 3rd grade, the topic is My Body is Mine. And then for 4th through 8th grade, the topic is My Body, My Rights. So we will be sending more information to families in the coming weeks. There is a process for families to opt out if they do not want their student to participate, but those lessons will be happening after we return from spring break.
Ms. Conway, what is the class again that you were mentioning?
It's they're calling it the Title IX training, but it's about helping students understand why it's important to report sexual misconduct.
Okay.
So pre-K to 3rd, My Body is Mine.
Okay.
4th through 8th, My Body, My Rights.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just taking
No, I apologize. I didn't have a chance to update it in the PowerPoint because we just got the information a day or two ago.
No problem. Ahorita es muy importante anotar que se está dando un entrenamiento mandatorio a todos los estudiantes de prekinder a octavo grado. Este entrenamiento se le llama título 9 y lo que se ofrece a través de la Oficina de Protección para los estudiantes y es un entrenamiento para darle a los estudiantes un reconocimiento de lo que es la mala conducta que alguien puede tener con ellos de manera sexual. Entonces, por ejemplo, para los más chiquitos se va a ofrecer el curso que se llama Mi cuerpo es mío, y para los estudiantes más grandecitos, Mi cuerpo, mi derecho. Y es una manera de darles a entender que ellos tienen derechos de protegerse a ellos mismos y de reportar cuando hay una falla de conducta por parte de cualquier persona o adulto a quien estén trabajando con ellos. Entonces es una manera de capacitarles a ellos su derecho a protegerse y conocer actualmente cuáles derechos ellos tienen. Y entonces si ustedes están de acuerdo con que ellos tomen estos cursos y esta preparación, no tienen que hacer nada, simplemente se va a ofrecer. Si ustedes no quieren que sus hijos participen en esto, va a haber una manera en que ustedes puedan retirarse de esas sesiones y nosotros les vamos a dar esa información en cuanto te lo tengamos.
hit principal's report. Mrs. Video.
All right. Well, as you know, we're in the process of reopening again for fourth quarter. So we've been stalking parents to get the survey in to opt in or stay remote for the remainder of the year. As of yesterday, we still had 100 families that didn't complete the survey, which is why I've been like stalking everybody on Class Dojo. Today, the office is making all the final calls because today is the deadline. We are prioritizing 4 days in person. And it looks like our kindergarten, I'm pretty sure most of those classes will be able to be offered 4 days in person. As of the numbers, it's based on the numbers. So if we have 15 or less in a class, then they can come the 4 days in person. If we have over 15, we have to split them into pods. So one pod will come Monday and Tuesday, and one pod will come Thursday and Friday. So that's been a big push right now.
So is that going to be decided by grade level then?
It's by class. It's by class, actually. So depending on the numbers, some classes are larger than others. So that means that if they're large classes, they typically will have to split into pods. But the primary classes have always been really small. So like some of the classes like 216, 113, 213 are definitely going 4 days because they don't even have 15 kids in them at all. So it's all going to depend on who's opting into hybrid and who's staying home.
So a parent might have a kid that goes to school in person 4 days and another child that might go 2 days.
Correct. And what's helpful is it's not going to be the older kids that go 4 days. So like if the older kids take care of their younger siblings, it would be like their younger kids go for 4 days and the older siblings stay home for 2 of the days. But that will be, I wanted to have all this information for you guys today, but we're still stalking and trying to get everyone's choice. But right now as of last night, we had 230 families opting into hybrid. And like I said, 100 people still hadn't completed the survey. So our numbers have definitely gone up. And we'll have those final numbers by the end of the day so that we can start strategizing and making those plans.
Okay.
So that's 230 in addition to the ones that have already opted for hybrid?
No, that'll be total. So the kids that opted for hybrid already just remain in hybrid, and these are the additional ones. So if you remember, like we started at about 150. Gotcha. And then as things got crazy with the district and like it just kept the deadline, the start date just kept moving. We had about, I think, 30 kids switch back to remote. So a lot of those students now are back to hybrid. And that's growing. So we'll find out the final numbers after these last 100 complete the survey.
Did you only share about the pods right now, or I'm sorry, I was responding to another text that I just got with.
No problem. Yeah, that's all I spoke about right now.
Okay, so ahorita se están desarrollando los horarios para el regreso de clases en el último semestre. Tenemos, how many families did you say? 200.
30.
Yeah, it was like 250.
250 that are returning to. Yeah. Hybrid. So tenemos 250 familias que ya han respondido que están interesados en regresar para el próximo semestre. Entonces estamos viendo cómo vamos a arreglar los horarios, porque dependiendo de la cantidad de estudiantes en total que tenemos para cada salón, se determina cuántos días de la semana pueden asistir a clase. Es posible que algunos grupos estén más llenos que otros, entonces eso determina si por ejemplo, tenemos un grupo muy pequeño, quizás se le puede ofrecer los 4 días de la semana, pero si hay un grupo donde hay grupos que rebasan los 15 de límite, entonces quizás vamos a tener que ver la posibilidad de abrir 2 grupos separados y esos solamente se pueden ofrecer con 2 días a 2 días a la semana. Entonces ahorita en cuanto podamos recibir todas las respuestas de las familias, pues, es lo más rápido que vamos a poder empezar a arreglar estos horarios para cada familia.
Sorry, I'll go in order this time. OST stands for out of school time. And we have gotten this grant. It used to be called After School All-Stars. We've had it forever since I've been here, so 9 years, and then a million years before that. Freyer used to run it. Ms. Geiser runs it now. And it's a grant for $16,000 that we just got this last week. Initially, we were supposed to have this grant at the beginning of the year, but CPS erroneously approved us for a 21st century grant that we applied for, which it's $125,000 per year for after school programming, for social workers and things like that within the school. So we were really excited about that for one day. And then they said, we're sorry, there was a mix up. West Park, De Diego, and Moos all did not receive this 21st century grant. So we were like, okay, fine. Well, then we never heard from OST, and I reached out and I said, hey, where are those funds? I didn't know if it was on hold because we can't have kids in person, so there wasn't going to be after school. And so I reached out and I said, we haven't had any updates about OST. Like, are we able to start now that kids are in person? Can we do it in person? Does it have to be online? And they said, we are so sorry. We thought that you had this 21st century grant, so you can't have both grants. But it turns out you don't have it, so here are all your funds. So now we have $16,000 to spend on after school programs. And so what we're planning right now, and we're still waiting for more guidance, is like, if kids are in two different pods, right? So like we want to have a soccer team. So typically we have like a 7th and 8th grade soccer team and a 5th and 6th grade soccer team. But that would require kids from different pods merging together. And we're awaiting guidance on if that's allowed, if it's not allowed. Can we have a soccer team? Can they play outside if they're masked? Because all of the Park District programs are open, and they're allowing us to have YMCA aftercare here, which means there's different pods mixing in the aftercare as well. So there's still CPS uncertainty there, but what we are doing is something called Wellness Wednesdays. And as you know, Wednesdays are like an abbreviated schedule, and our attendance has been plummeting because it's such a shortened schedule anyway. And then kids, like Freyer said, don't log back on for exploratory classes. So one way that we're going to remedy that is make Wellness Wednesdays. And we're partnering with Music House to offer some classes like comic drawing, Disney ballet, portrait drawing, beats, like DJing, beats and mixing classes. So there'll be a few different options for each of the different grade levels on Wednesday afternoons for kids to opt into. And then Mr. Pagan and his team are looking to offer some sports. We're just trying to find out the logistics of in-person sports at this point. Right now they're open for high schools because high schools aren't in person, so it wouldn't require pods mixing up. It would just be like the sports team is the pod. So we're hoping that we can have some soccer, some type of sports outside, just to get kids moving a little bit more and not make everything virtual. The hard part is like, after being on the computer all day, do you really want to hop on another virtual, even if it's enjoyable and fun, do you really want to have more screen time, as the weather gets warmer? It's always like this debate. I know I don't. I like at the beginning of the pandemic, Zooming with my friends was fun and cool. And now I'm like, okay, I'm too tired of Zoom. I'm tired of being on the computer, even if it is for something enjoyable. So that's kind of the toss up there for OST. But we're really excited to offer these kind of fun clubs. And those sign up forms are going to be coming out this next week.
Ahorita estamos hablando de una beca que se le dio a la escuela que es para la programación fuera del horario escolar. Entonces, esta es la beca OST que está anotada aquí en la agenda. Pero siempre hemos tenido esta programación, se llamaba con diferentes nombres en años anteriores. pero ya tenemos muchos años con esta programación aquí después de la escuela. Pero ahorita tenemos unos cuantos detallitos que se tienen que arreglar antes de que podamos planificar todas las actividades. Por ejemplo, la mezcla de grupos estudiantiles para los deportes, por ejemplo, ahorita es una pregunta que hemos entregado a las escuelas públicas de Chicago, porque se supone que no deberíamos de estar mezclando los grupos estudiantiles de acuerdo con las clases que tenemos, ¿verdad? Para evitar que pueda correr una infección entre los grupos. Entonces, si esos son los reglamentos, queremos asegurar que si nosotros tenemos actividades afuera, si esas reglas cambian, para que podamos nosotros amplificar la programación que queremos llevar a cabo con los deportes afuera y quizás también a la vez simplemente asegurarnos de que mantengamos la más alta a nivel de seguridad para asegurar de que todos estén sanos y a salvo, ¿verdad? También tenemos ahorita la programación del YMCA, que va a ofrecer cuidado de niño después de la escuela. Y en ese instante, las escuelas públicas de Chicago ha aprobado que se mezclen estudiantes de grupos en estos grupos más pequeños, ¿verdad? Entonces, estamos viendo ahorita cuáles son las reglas, qué se puede hacer y qué no, y de acuerdo con ese reglamento, quizás nosotros entonces podríamos finalizar el tipo de programación que se puede ofrecer. También estamos viendo cómo se puede utilizar el miércoles como un miércoles de bienestar. Y queremos ofrecerles a los estudiantes otro tipo de programación fuera de los cursos típicos académicos que han estado tomando, y también para ver de qué manera podríamos ofrecerles algo distinto, ¿verdad? Que quizás también incluye la idea de que no están en línea, sino que se les puede ofrecer algo donde puedan participar en persona. Estamos viendo, vamos a seguir viendo para esta programación fuera del horario escolar los deportes, si se pueden hacer clases de deportes o deportes en grupo, ¿verdad? En equipo. También estamos viendo un contrato con la organización Music House, Casa de Música, que hemos trabajado con ellos anteriormente para desarrollar diferentes tipos de cursos. Pueden ser cursos de ballet, cursos de música, cursos de, ¿cómo se dice? What is it?
Arte también.
Arte, clases de arte, ingeniería de música, cuando los niños están mezclando sonidos. Entonces, queremos ofrecerles algo distinto, diferente, para ayudar a motivarlos un poco más y darles simplemente un descanso de todo lo que han estado haciendo hasta este punto.
The next part is just a quick update. We did get feedback from the PAC, and so which is why we're scheduling it on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So it'll be Saturday mornings and then also Wednesdays where you're not going like a whole day of screen time and then having to log back on for more things. But the last update just there is the safety committee met. This was an agreement with the union. So the teachers, anyone in the staff can identify any issues that they're having about safety, if there's purifiers missing or cleaning that's not being done, so that we can problem solve it. We just had our first meeting yesterday. Our attendance, Ms. Conway kind of talked about our Tier 2 intervention of Attendance All-Stars and what we're working on to get our attendance up, and we've had that 1% growth for those Tier 2 and Tier 3 students we're very excited about. And our parent engagement, we've kind of discussed. Our PAC and our BAC have been meeting and discussing just like fun ways to build community within the school and get kids showcasing students and having fun community builders. Ms. Van Dyke mentioned the 5 Essentials survey. That's going to be coming out to parents to give feedback on what's working, what's not working, communication at the school, etc. And I know that I got the email from the LSC that I need my evaluation by May 1st. And this will be my first evaluation because last year there wasn't one, right? My network isn't evaluating. Principals aren't being evaluated by the network this year. So you guys will be my only evaluation. So be honest, tell me where we need to get better. And budget amendments, enmiendas, hay muchos. We have lots of amendments this month because position pointer lines are dropping. And now that we're teaching in person simultaneously, there's a bunch of technology needs that we still need to kind of modernize here in the building.
Okay.
Just read the agenda. Like I just zip through. I know that it's been a long meeting already. I'm trying to zip through fast.
Okay, I'm going to try to cover what you mentioned here.
Most of it has already been mentioned, you know.
Yeah. So, simplemente por llegar va a ser la evaluación de la directora que va a dirigir el concilio escolar. También estaba hablando de la asistencia, que corrientemente estamos al 94.7%, y la encuesta de los 5 esenciales para las familias y los estudiantes que se tiene que llenar. I'm sorry, Lauren, I had to step away briefly. What was an announcement you made about Saturdays?
Oh, that's what we worked with the PAC to get feedback on when to offer the programs so that they, Saturday mornings, especially kids with parents with younger students wanted something on Saturday mornings, like a cooking class, a craft class, so that it wasn't just like another hour on top of their long day on the computer.
Entonces, una sugerencia que el PAC está proponiendo es que se utilicen los sábados por la mañana para ofrecer programación para los estudiantes y familias.
Sí, es todo. Okay, for now, all of these amendments here. Okay.
So I have to step away for something really quick. So I'm going to have to fall back on all of you guys for translation.
No problem. You know, I'll translate my Spanglish. So these are So the new budget is going to be coming out in the next few weeks. And the planning is based on our CIWP. So what are our priorities? And what are our professional development needs? What are some things that we want to make sure that we create budget for? And what I always do is create cushion in our budget in case we don't get some of these grants that we always rely on. So like OST, I always act like we're not going to have OST get that grant. So I always set aside money so that we can have those after school programs, because after school programs are important and offering them is really important to us as a school and a school community to give those type of well-rounded experiences for kids. So once we do get the grant, it frees up a lot of money that we had already allocated for after school programs, and now we have this grant, so now we have all this other extra free money to spend on what we need. So in a previous LSC meeting, we talked about buying MacBooks for teachers, and right now with with Apple, there's a new MacBook M3 processor that's still being approved by CPS. So we haven't been able to purchase those yet because it's still not approved by CPS. So we bought some teacher laptops that are Dells that are touchscreen to help with the simultaneous instruction. So the simultaneous instruction right now is you need to project to your smart board. You need to have 2 screens open. So one screen is looking at the kids in the classroom, and then one screen is what you're using to project what's on your smart board. It is like, we are like the Jetsons over here right now, and it's pretty awesome. It's really cool. But it does require smart boards and 2 computers going simultaneously. So the first bucket that Freyer made this so beautiful is for those classrooms that don't have smart boards, and to buy those MacBooks once that gets approved by CPS. There's 2 amendments there for that big bucket of work. Vamos a comprar computadoras nuevas y smartboards nuevas para las maestras que necesitan. Some of the teachers, unas de las maestras tienen estos MacBooks. Some of our special ed teachers have to go on a program called SSM, and they need to have Microsoft. So some of our special ed teachers already have them. This would be for our general education teachers to get their own personal device. In the years, last year, was it for 2 years ago? We gave teachers a choice of a smartboard or a MacBook, and everyone wanted a smartboard. But then it didn't do them any good when they were working from home. And they were like, where's our MacBooks now? So this is something that the teachers have been asking for a long time. And I wish that it could have happened earlier. But as we have to wait for such a big district for things to be approved, the timeline is gotten a little bit pushed. The next big bucket is for supplies. It's moving money from a supply line to replenish science supplies for hands-on science experiments, Chromebook replenishment, now that a lot of them are coming back damaged, and to purchase caps and gowns for all of our 8th graders. Typically, we collect funds to pay for it, and it adds up to be around $75 per student. Right now, we just acknowledge that times are difficult, and because we have this extra money from OST, the grant, we decided to purchase the caps and gowns for students this year. They're probably going to have some type of modified graduation anyway, so we figure the least that we can do for their 8th grade year is give them and provide their own caps and gowns. So those are the first 2 buckets, teacher technology and then the supply bucket to move those funds there. Este segundo enmienda es para, how do you say supplies? Útiles?
That's a good one.
Útiles.
Ms. Lopez, you still on?
¿Cómo?
Ms. Lopez?
Útiles.
Útiles. I think I've asked that before.
Yeah, útiles. Sorry, I was covering.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
That's why my camera was off.
Oh, no problem. Multitasking. Este es para útiles científicos y para Chromebooks y para biretas y batas para los estudiantes en 8º grado.
So the OST grants, the 16,000, that's for the after school program. That's set aside for the after school program. Mm-hmm. The 15,000 for the caps and gowns, that's got nothing to do with the OST grant, right?
No, that has nothing to do. So because we have that extra 16,000, you can reduce that. So it's in a line. When we do budget, I always put in like $20,000 for just after school programs in case we don't get OST.
I got you now. So because we got the grant,
we
got the grant, you were able to move the money over.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I think we should probably, I can make a motion for this page and then we can move on, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to do those separately, the first box, or can I do them together?
You can do them separately.
Separately,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to move $26,490.08 from the regular position pointer line to purchase smartboards and MacBooks.
Okay, because it's dealing with funds, I'm just going to go ahead and do a roll call vote. I
need a second. Who can second?
I can second it. I second
Okay,
it.
Lopez second. Okay. All right, Mr. Graciani, in favor or against?
Yes, favor.
Okay. Ms. Bernhard?
In favor.
Okay, Mr. Dona's left. Ms. Ferrer?
In favor.
Okay, Ms. Castillo, en favor o en contra? Señora Castillo?
Ok, aquí. Todo muy bien, todo perfecto. Estoy de acuerdo con todo. Gracias, de verdad.
Okay. And I'm in favor as well. Okay, so that that move is approved. We're going to the next one, Ms. Frere?
Yes, sorry, I'm trying to type these all out same
Okay.
time. All right, I would like to make a motion to move $40,000 from the regular pointer line to the equipment line for MacBooks and smartboards. Do I have a second?
I can second that too.
All right, Ms. Lopez seconds. Okay, Mr. Graciani?
Yes.
In
Favor.
favor. Ms. Barnhart?
In favor.
Okay, Ms. Frere is in favor. Ms. Lopez in favor. I'm in favor. Señora Castillo, en favor, en contra? Es su micrófono. Está apagado. El micrófono. Ahí.
Ok, todo a favor.
A favor? Okay, gracias. All right, so everyone's in favor. That one passes. Next.
Next one, I would like to make a motion that we move $15,000 from the bucket pointer line to supplies. Do I have a second?
I can second it.
Okay, Mr. Donna seconds. All right, Mr. Graciani. I'm sorry, Ms. Graciani just was seconded. Ms. Barnhart?
In favor.
Okay. Ms. Frere in favor. Ms. Lopez?
In favor.
Okay. Señora Castillo, en favor o en contra?
A favor.
Okay. And myself in favor. All right, that passes well.
Okay, then the last two buckets are some we kind of touched on a little bit with International Baccalaureate, is moving money from an instructional materials line. So moving to purchase Spanish curriculum for our world language program. Ms. Ferguson's new this year, and we don't have a Spanish language curriculum. She's been doing a great job writing her own units for MYP, but would benefit from something for the primary grade since she teaches preschool to 8th grade. Having something as like an anchor to teach some of our younger kids with online resources to help support them visually as well. And additionally, it will be more of those Spanish books. So Miss Moreno got a quote from, we're really wanting to make sure that our Spanish texts are not translations, not just the books that we have translated into English, but authentic texts. And they're very pricey. She got 2 quotes and they were $16,000 each. So we are working with the vendor La Libreria, to make sure that those texts match the units that the teams are creating for PYP, for the primary years program, and MYP. And because our classes are going to be up to 4th grade dual language next year, making sure that they have just as many high quality texts as our monolingual teachers. And the dual language team has been reviewing them to make sure that they are high quality and not just translated from English. So that is that first bucket of instructional materials for Spanish curriculum and for Spanish books. And then the last one is it's part of the International Baccalaureate grant that we received. And I don't know if we need an amendment for this, but it was to move the funds from this line to a bucket so that we can pay teachers to plan these units after school. So like Ms. Van Dyke said, the MYP teachers have been meeting on Saturday. The PYP teachers have been working like 2 hours after school. And the PYP leadership team, the PYP feasibility team has been meeting. So that bucket will be paying for all of that professional development and planning time for teachers.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we move $5,000 from the benefits pointer line to instructional materials.
I'll second that. Okay, Mr. Graciani?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Bernhard?
In favor.
Okay, Ms. Freire, in favor. Ms. Lopez?
In favor.
Okay. Señora Castillo? Su micrófono.
Sí.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, that one passes. Next.
I would like to make a motion that we move $1,865 from the regular position line to the instructional materials line. Do I have a second?
I'll second that. Mr. Graciani?
In favor?
Ms. Barnhart?
In favor.
Ms. Lopez?
In favor.
Señora Castillo?
De acuerdo.
All right, that passed. Next.
I would like to make a motion to move $7,000 from the benefits pointer line to the instructional materials line.
I'll second that. Mr. Graciani?
In favor?
Ms. Barnhart?
In favor.
Ms. Lopez?
In favor.
Señora Castillo?
De acuerdo.
All right. Last one.
Last one, I would like to make a motion to move $7,300 from the line it's on to the IB professional development payments.
Okay, I'll second that. Mr. Graciani?
In favor?
Ms. Barnhart?
In favor.
Okay. Ms. Lopez?
In favor.
Señora Castillo?
De acuerdo.
Gracias. All right. That's it for that page.
I think so. I'm sure there will be more next month. As we wind down the year, we typically have money left over. This year's been, such a crazy year. Typically, we have so many more after-school programs, like teachers doing, teaching after-school clubs, and the general consensus is like a lot of burnout at this point, like screen burnout. So as the year winds down, I'm sure we'll have some more amendments to move things around. But I wanted to ask and just have you be thinking about some things that you'd like to see more of, or I'm already thinking about, we've got our soccer goals, which I'm super excited about, and the kids, just watching them play has been awesome. I bought tetherball poles, and I did a little lesson with Mr. Moore on how to play tetherball, because none of our kids had ever played tetherball before. And so now seeing them outside the window playing tetherball has been so super fun. But I have a ticket in with facilities to try to get swings for our front, either putting them next to the playground or over by the garden, so that we can get a swing set here. I know when the playground was closed, it was just like so sad to see like all of everything taped off. And so now seeing the kids back on the playground, it's been really great. So it's been kind of like brainstorming of what we can use to make, school more joyful, how we can bring in more hands-on experiments, and how we can, just keep things exciting and fun now that we're back. Some of us are back. Lastly is the calendar. I'm going to send out another Moos Minute today with all of this information. And we'll hopefully have updates on pods and how many days in class, and everything is sooner than later. I know parents have to get daycare and childcare figured out. So, and with, 2 days, it's difficult to figure out. I have a meeting with YMCA today talking about in-house aftercare, so that they can do from 3 to 6 here for those families that can't pick up on time, that need a little bit of extra daycare. I think that's it for me.
The spring break, the Bring Your Negative COVID, is that for the staff?
Oh yeah, so I'm going to be sending this out. So the safety team met yesterday, and there's specific states So if you're vaccinated, which I think 98% of our staff is, which is really awesome. So as soon as we got the email, I booked my spring break trip. I'm like, yes, we don't have to quarantine. So if you're double vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine even if you visit an orange state. And I'm going to explain all of this in my newsletter today too, because it's something that's, creating a little bit of fear within our staff community, is that everyone's going to be going somewhere for spring break. And we just don't want, we've been great so far since January 11th. We've had kids in the building and haven't had any scares or any fears. So and no COVID. So thankfully we want to keep it that way. But the teachers are worried that kids are going to be traveling and then coming back to school. So the CPS guidance is that if you go to an orange state, you have to get a test 72 hours before you leave for Chicago. So in that state, you have to get a negative COVID test to bring back. So it's difficult because we have the health screener and we expect people to answer it honestly. But the negative test is something that's required to prove that you are safe to come back in person for staff that aren't vaccinated and for kids.
Okay, old business. The only thing I had written down was, I think it was at the last meeting when Ms. Julia, when you announced that CPS was hiring and encouraged folks to apply, and Ms. Castillo inquired whether she could, and because she's an LSC member, she would have to wait 2 years. But there was talk of asking about a waiver. Did anyone at Moos inquire about that waiver?
I did not. I completely forgot to.
Okay. That's all I had as far as old business. Moving on to new business.
So the Moos language policy is something that was, it wasn't created, it was rather updated. We had a Moos language policy from a few years ago that the MYP team worked on. I am also a part of the PYP implementation team. And one of our requirements was to overhaul our language policy. It's quite a huge document and it's not yet translated into Spanish, but it is linked. I'm putting the link in the chat. If you're interested in taking a look at that, I would encourage you to do so. The link is also on some of the documents that I emailed you last night. So it's there for you if you want to check it out and give any feedback. We'd love to hear it. But we're very proud that it's completely overhauled and really satisfied with what we came up with. I don't know if anyone could translate for me.
I saw Miss Moreno appear briefly. I guess she's not back. Ms. Lopez, you want to take a stab at it?
No. Can I pass on that?
Bueno, lo que dijo Ms. Ferrer, que hay una póliza de idiomas de Moos nueva, que es bastante grande, pero mandó el enlace. Si quieres revisarlo, how big is the file, Ms. Ferrer? How big is the policy?
I don't know. It's like maybe 10 pages. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Have to click. It's quite long, so I want people to have a chance to look at it on their own time.
Okay. Si tiene tiempo, la póliza es como de 10 páginas. Si quieres revisarla, ella mandó el enlace por el correo electrónico. Okay, Moos reopening.
Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Julio? Yeah, we kind of covered that already. Anything to add to OST, Mr. Julio?
No, I'm sorry. I kind of just went into it in my report.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
So if we move on to principal evaluation, there is a rubric that the council will follow. I can't remember if they included that in the email that they sent all of us, but It is in there?
I did. That's when it was from Veronica, I don't remember her name, Darden. And I saw the rubric attached and I was like, ooh, May 1st is creeping up on us. So
yeah, so I need members to expect an email coming from me. We will have a closed session meeting where we discuss the evaluation, and then we will need to provide that to Mr. Julio by May 1st. I believe we also need to vote on it, so we need to complete the discussions about it before the April meeting so that we can vote on it and give it to her by May 1st. So it's pretty straightforward, and the rubric is very helpful to get our conversation started.
La evaluación de la directora la tenemos que someter el primero antes del 1 de mayo. La señora Fraser va a enviar una invitación por correo electrónico y vamos a tener una reunión cerrada donde la directora no va a estar en asistencia y vamos a hablar sobre la evaluación. Tenemos que votar y ponernos de acuerdo a la evaluación antes de someterla a la oficina. Ms. Frere, when are we going to select the date for that?
We can do that today, if you'd like. I think that's probably a good idea since most of us are here.
Okay. So let's throw some dates out there.
I would really need it to be after school because I really don't want to miss time with my students if possible. So if there's a day we could do it after that would be best for me. Although if it's easier for people to have childcare because the kids are occupied in school, I understand that too. I cannot do Mondays because I have grad school on Mondays. So any other day of the week would be fine with me.
How about Tuesday, the 23rd?
That works for me.
At 4 p.m.
That works for me. Anybody else have
el
feedback?
El 23 de marzo a las 4. Everyone good with that or available?
Are we talking
that works for
March
me?
Or are we talking April? Just to
We're
be clear.
talking March.
Okay.
Yeah. So I saw a thumbs up by Ms. Lopez. Ms. Bernhard said yes. Señora Castillo, ¿está bien con usted? El 23 de marzo a las 4.
Sí, está bien.
Okay, she's good.
Wait, actually, I just noticed there's an LSC training. This is actually a question of mine, maybe for later, but I've been receiving invitations from the office of LSC from Guillermo to attend these trainings, and I know I'm required to undergo 16 hours within the first 6 months, and one of the trainings is next Tuesday at 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those trainings, you can actually take it self-paced if you log into the portal. You can do those whenever you want. Again, self-paced. I think the meetings that Willie sets up is to assist those that are kind of new to the LSC environment and kind of help them go through the course. But I don't think, I'm pretty sure it's not a requirement. They're just kind of presenting the information, which is the same thing that you can find in the online course.
I'm noticing that there's a BAC meeting at that time. Would that mean we would be missing any of our LSC members for that? Or any of our LSC members on the BAC?
Miss Castillo, ¿está en la BAC también? ¿O solo en LSC?
¿Cómo?
¿Está en
¿Usted es miembro del comité bilingüe también o solamente?
No, el comité bilingüe no. No es solo.
Okay. No, solamente el LSC.
Sí, exacto.
Laura's.
Sí.
No, she's not on it.
Okay. All right, I think we might be good then for the 23rd at 4. I will send out an invitation. If you know how and you could, it would be best for you to respond to the invitation as a yes so that it appears on your calendar.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm just reading the message that Ms. Bernhard. Yeah, so the LSC member courses are online. If you need help I think if you Google, CPS LSC training or something, it might pop up. If it
It
doesn't
does,
anymore,
yeah.
I can
Right.
send you the link. But yeah, all of them you can do online, which is pretty cool because it's, like I said, it's self-paced. Señora Castillo, ¿usted hizo todos los cursos para el LSC en el internet? ¿No lo ha hecho o lo hizo?
No. Cursos, no.
Okay. Hay unos cursos que tiene que completar por el internet. Le podemos brindar asistencia en eso, no se preocupe.
Ok, y bueno, me pasan el link, ¿no? De esos cursos.
Sí.
Por
Sí.
favor, ok.
Sí,
Ok.
se lo envío por el correo electrónico.
Sí, por favor, gracias.
Ok.
Se pueden traducir, ¿no?
Sí.
Ok, muy bien.
Cuando esté ahí, elige español.
Ah, perfecto, gracias.
Okay. Just has everyone else finished or at least started the LSC courses, the required courses?
I just wrote myself a note. I'm going to give an update on that on the next meeting so that everybody can see kind of where they're at, because I'm able to, and I think you are too, to access the dashboard.
Dashboard, okay.
And I can easily take a little screenshot of that just so we can kind of see where we're at as a council and see where we may need to help some members get caught up. So I'm going to put that on the agenda for next month.
Perfect. Okay, so we're good for March 23rd at 4 p.m. for the meeting. Okay.
It will probably take at least an hour, just FYI planning.
Okay. Entonces estamos listos para el 23 de marzo, para la reunión, para hablar sobre la evaluación, y va a tomar como una hora. Okay. All right. Public forum, any questions, comments from anyone? Nothing?
I think we covered everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
I looked up at the clock and I thought it's 10:34 p.m. because we've been here so long, but it's actually 10:34 a.m. So we're good. All right, yo miré el reloj y cuando vi 10:34 pensaba que era 10:34 de la noche. So the next meeting is going to be April 23rd at 8:30 a.m. Like always, please be prompt, if not earlier. Like they say, early is on time is late. So that way we can, like today, it lasted 2 hours. So the sooner we get started, the sooner we can get through everything and give you back your lives. So if there are no further questions, thanks everyone for logging in today, and we'll see you, some of you, on Tuesday for the closed meeting. All right, everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Que estén bien. Bye.
Bye-bye.